Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of the Lone Wolf Show. And I'm the Lone Wolf, and this is the WitchCon Special Presenter Series. And you are watching www.witchcrafttv.online. Ally, all the way over there in UK. How you doing this morning?
I'm very well. Good morning, everyone, or good evening, good night.
Wherever you might be. So I heard you're going to be on WitchCon for 2026 in February.
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm very, very excited. I'm doing a presentation on the tarot, the magician, and the alchemy that he has, and what we can do to embody his easy alchemy into our lives.
That's really fascinating. The magician of the tarot card is that's the imagery with the AT weight where it has, well, the magician, and then it has the four like elemental weapons in front of him.
Yes, it does. That's the one with the infinity sign as well. Yeah, it has all the elements in front of him on the table.
Why does that particular card fascinate you, and why are you teaching that one?
He has always been a little bit of a mentor for me when it comes to any spiritual practice. So when I was always able to kind of read the tarot intuitively. So when I first picked up the deck, he was one of the ones that came to me first and foremost, the main archetype that came to me. And he started to show me how to embody his magic in my everyday practice, to kind of link the tarot and the magic together, and how you can use the archetypes in the tarot to manifest what it is you want using magic. And he came to me through that card. So he is like my go-to. I absolutely love him. And he's got so many tools and tricks in his picture and his imagery that just show you how you can access magic in perhaps more an easier way than the more complicated rituals and things like that we do as well.
How long have you been reading tarot?
Since I was a young girl, really. So when I was always clairaudience, I always heard spirit. I was always clairvoyant. So my little brother died when I was a baby, and I remember saying to my mum, "Who's that boy walking around the house?" And my mum said, "What boy?" And there was always a dog running up and down our hallway, and mum said we never had a dog, and I would always see it. So it was always there. And then I had a life-changing car accident where I got run over. When I got run over, I just I couldn't walk. They told me you'll never walk, never work, and never have children. So I picked up my first deck of tarot cards, and it was like I just knew intuitively what to do. And then over time, I overcome the difficulties that accident gave to me. So I went on to work now, self-employed, have children, and run the magical practice as well, and learned how to walk again. So the tarot was always my tool, and it always helped me, showing me like the different ways I could achieve what I needed to achieve when it came to the healing process.
That's a really cool story, personal story. It kind of is very inspirational. You can't hold a witch down for sure. Can't hold this down
No,
at all.
it was
Really like it.
a real awakening process. And the day that I got run over, I was going to cross the road. I remember that, well, I thought this is a really dangerous road. Someone's going to get hit by a car. And then on the way back, I took on a Mitsubishi truck. So, but it was a life-changing experience. It was a very dark, shadow aspect of my life that I had to go through. I had to learn a lot about myself and the healing journey. But the tarot, witchcraft, spirit were always my guide through that process. But that was my main awakening. So always blessed since birth. But the process was through that life-changing accident for me to get where I am now.
Very inspirational story. In your bio, it also says that you're a writer for Witches Magazine. Is
I
that a
am, yes,
is
I
that a
am.
is that a periodical is that published with BBI Media United States, or is that like a United Kingdom publication?
It's all over the world. You can, it's England based. I know with kind of shipping rates, they've had a bit of an issue with kind of getting it abroad, but you can order a physical copy for abroad. But you can also order it online at witchesmagazine.com, I think it is. And I'm a regular seasoned writer, so they do it quarterly for each of the seasons. And I write, I'm working my way through the major arcana of the tarot, and what the archetype can teach us and the magic that we can use to embody the archetype into our lives. So, for example, if you're pulling a spread and you get one of the cards, and it's one of the major arcana, which is the archetype, and it teaches you like easy magic to bring it into your life, what it is you need from that card.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I think I got it confused with Witches and Pagans magazine, which is a United States based one. But the craft is so big, and there's so much going on outside of America, across the pond. So yeah, we're gonna check out Witches magazine. So
I know there are some suppliers in America. I wouldn't know specifically where they are, but right. You can definitely get it online.
So you have a regular column there.
I do, yes. Every quarter, we've worked our way all the way up to the one that's going to be coming out in spring is the Wheel of Fortune. So we've done the first 10 major arcana of the tarot, and like I said, it's talking about, we explore the cards, and then I say, if you need to embody the magic of this card into your life, this is what some ideas of how you can embody that practice into your everyday life.
So you read tarot card professionally?
I do, yes. I'm a YouTuber.
And you read on YouTube, and is that like live? Do you do that?
Sometimes I do live. I used to do more live. I've had to take a little bit of a work-life balance, because when I first started YouTube, it went absolutely crazy, and I had to kind of roll back a little bit. So the lives I don't do so much anymore. I used to primarily focus on love readings, because at that point in time I was going through a lot in my love life, and it was very good. Spirit always said to me, you have to read for people through experience. So when it came to reading the cards and the love readings, it's like I had to have this turbulent love life at that point in time, for me to help guide others. And I still absolutely love doing love readings, but I do every type of reading that there is now, and also the magical practices as well, about how people can embody the magic that they need into their lives through the ritual, etc., etc.
So you can check out her channel at, let's see, YouTube, Mystic Love Tarot.
That's the one.
Right on YouTube. And also you have a .com. Is that the website?
I have a website. I actually need to update the website, to be honest, but you can find me on Instagram as well. That's my main platform, as well as YouTube. I do, at the moment, I'm doing like a mini magic series. So it's basic magic that's only 2 or 3 minutes long. But if you haven't got the time to do big ritual practice, and it's in various aspects of what you want to achieve, it's like a 2-3 minute mini magic that you can do on a daily basis.
So what other kind of teachings do you teach with the tarot? Can you like cast a spell with a deck of tarot cards?
Yeah, I mean, I like to use the ancient ritual practices as always, but kind of through a modern lens. So for example, if you were pulling a lot of fire energy, so the wand in the tarot, example, if you pull the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Wands is all about movement. It's about going for what it is that you want. You can achieve it now. It's happening right as you're talking. You're going to where you want to be. And for that energy, if you want to kind of speed up the process, I would talk about movement. Movement is such an action-based energy. So if you can do a little bit of dancing, you can get your drumming beats on and things like that. It can help speed up the process of what it is that you want to bring into your life. So it's basic, easy magic that you can do on a daily basis, but the tarot can be the guide into what it is that you want to achieve, if that makes sense.
And so there's 78 tarot cards.
There is, there's a lot.
The 78 tarot cards. I mean, how long? I mean, I own a deck of tarot cards. I don't read them a lot, but I have. And you mentioned the the major arcana. And a lot of times, if I'm doing a quick divination, I'll just get the 22 out and I'll read because it seems a lot simpler. Do you go to that? Is that how you read too, or do you read with the whole deck?
No,
And then
I do
is it?
the whole caboodle because it shows a story. You know, if with magic, I would use the major arcana. With tarot readings, I will use the whole deck. And if you know you're doing a reading, and I always call it a stalker card, like it's a repetitive card that keeps coming out, then you know if you're getting a repetitive card, if you're getting a stalker card, then you could have a look at that with regard to magic, and whether it's major arcana, so the big stuff, or minor arcana. If it's coming up, it has a serious message for you, so it's good to embody that. But as a whole reading, I will use the whole deck, but like as not a rule of thumb, but general speaking, I would use the whole deck for a reading, and the major arcana for magic as it stands at the moment. As my process, like through the writings of Witches magazine, I'm going to make my way through the major arcana, and then when I get that, I might start to explore the minor arcana and see what magic comes up when I explore them through writing.
What's one of the first things that you teach your new students of the tarot?
So to kind of just go with the flow of it, curiosity will absolutely get you everywhere. So, you know, when people think when you pick up the tarot, this is this and that is that, and there's like a golden rule that you have to follow this. This card comes to you, so it means this. It's not always the case. The written rules, and again, this is kind of ancient wisdom mixed with modern practice, right? You have the old this is the card meaning, but when you throw in psychic energy and you throw in a little bit of witchcraft as well, you can actually expand the knowledge of it as well. And that's what I'm saying, curiosity will get you everywhere. So you could pick up a card, like you could pick up the High Priestess, and you say, okay, so this is a card of, you know, inner knowledge, it's a card of intuition. But actually, when you explore her more and the curiosity comes to you, you find out that she is the walker between the liminal space, and you can do the magic associated with her to bring her into your life. You know, one of the things I said, I wrote about for the High Priestess was any doorway that you have, because she stands between a doorway. And, you know, we work with iron, right? So iron is the massive protector. And when we have a sacred space like this office, it's what I have on the outside of the door is I have an iron pin on one side and an iron pin on the other, because I'm leaving my life here, my family life, and I'm coming into the liminal space. And that's something that the High Priestess would teach us, you know? So it's curiosity. When you're picking up the cards, you can know the meaning, but exploring it and exploring what each card means to you can take you everywhere. You know, yeah, I was going to say every card. I also say to my students, you know, when you pick a card and you learn the meaning of it, eventually you will have some form of life association with that card as well. So it will take you back to a memory or a part of your life, and you'll know, say, for example, the Eight of Cups. It's about, you know, stepping away from situations that no longer serve you and kind of having that breath of fresh air. You're like, right, I've left the past behind. It was really hard. I'm still emotional, but I'm going to move myself forward. And I think most of us have that aspect of our life, but it can take us back to a memory. And when we have that memory, we can work on it and we can find that deeper intuitive meaning from that card as well.
So there's a lot of different variations of tarot. What's your favorite go-to deck of tarot?
Oh my goodness, you should see all my decks. I have so many decks. I like, it depends on my mood, right? So obviously Rider-Waite, when I'm reading for myself, they will be my go-to deck. I have about 6 Rider-Waite decks. So I have them when I feel in different moods. I have my oldest deck, which I feel is like a grandfather deck to me. So if I'm there and I actually, you know, say I'm going through grief and I need a little bit of support, I will go to him as my grandfather tarot deck. If I'm looking for that breath of fresh air, like I've got new endeavors that I want to explore, I'll go to one of my newer Rider-Waite decks. So they tend to be my go-to. For imagery and pictures, anything goddess related, huge goddess girl, anything witchcraft related, anything pagan and Celtic. I don't where I live, everyone knows Stonehenge, but where I live, I'm not too far away. I live in the Peak District of England, so we're right in the ancestral lineage of, of the pagan world. And right, about 14 miles from my house, we have a stone circle as well. And they call it the Stonehenge of the North, but it's not very spoken about. It's not touristic. You don't pay prices to go. You can just go, take your dowsing rods, find the energy paths, and really pick up stuff there. So any of the kind of more Celtic decks, the Celtic life has had such an impact on my witchcraft practice as well, and the ancient goddesses, especially from the local area. Those will kind of be the more witchy, the more decks I'll go to as well. But every deck is different. Every deck has a fresh energy, and for people that I read for my subscribers as well, I will be drawn to different decks for them. So example, I was drawn one day to the tattoo deck for a love reading, and then I said, the woman messaged me back afterwards and she said, I'm so glad you picked that deck. The guy that you're reading about is a tattoo artist. It's that kind of linkage. So it depends on the person, but for me it's normally the Rider-Waite's.
So when you're reading for someone and you're bestowing your gifts upon humanity, sometimes, well, if a reading turns out to be a warning or a bit baneful, how do you encounter that? Do you just tell them the truth? You give them your discernment, or do you kind of hold back on things?
I'm not very good at holding back. I feel like if people are coming to a reading, they are here for a reason. We don't have to sugarcoat things, but we have to make them aware of the different options that are available to them. So say you get the tower, which is like everything is going to collapse around you. It's kind of looking at that and saying, this can happen that way. There's a pathway this direction. So even if things are a little bit peak-tongue and wrong at the moment, there will always be an avenue that you can explore to help yourself at that point in time. So I don't believe in holding back. The only things I don't like doing and I refuse to do is anything about death. I don't like to do that. I don't feel that is my place at all. So if someone says to me, oh, my uncle's really sick, is there anything you can see here? I'll say that's not my place. I absolutely will hold back on that. But other than that, I like to be as transparent as I possibly can.
So it sounds like it can be a difficult endeavor with sometimes there's tears involved and things. Who do you walk with as far as the goddess? Is there a particular patron goddess that you walk with?
Yeah, well, yes, there is. The Morrigan came to me in a dream. This was the kind of big linkage with me, and she came to me in a dream and she said to me, she shook me up, to be honest, because she doesn't come in nicey, does she? She comes in like a big kind of explosion in your life. So I was going through some stuff. She came into my life, came to the dream, and she said, look, if you want to be my priestess, I need you to jump. And it was like it was a door. I was having this door in my dream, and I said to her, okay, I'm ready. And I jumped in the dream. And ever since that, the Morrigan has been around me largely, like in all aspects of my life. She took a step back because I've got into recently, the last couple of years, I've got into a more family mode, been building my muggle life, so to speak, with family. So Morrigan is not really, that's just not her forte, really, is it? So she kind of took a step back. But now I'm getting back into my practice a lot more, and work is flying off the handles again. She's definitely stepping back in. Hecate is always around me. Bridget for family. Goddess Bridget comes very regularly. My husband is a welder as well, so she likes us as a family, because she's half in home and healing and blacksmithery. So the modern day blacksmithery is welding. So she has a big impact on our family as a whole. But with the practice, it's definitely more the darker goddesses that come to me, the intuitive, the intuition based, the witchery, the magic.
Mm-hmm. I like all of that. It's very, very, very pretty to have relationships with deity and the goddess in her many beautiful forms.
Very special, yeah, very, very special. And And again, talking kind of about the ancient land that we live on, we have I mean, not just goddess, we have a lot of land spirits here as well. This is a very old Celtic place. I mean, where we live is in the Doomsday Book, so that's, you know, a very very old place for us to be living. So we have the spirits of the land here. You can feel the ancestors as you're kind of walking around, and they had, you know, how goddess has transformed in the time as well. You know, Brigantia, Bridget, you know, that transformation from the standing stones that are a Neolithic tomb in her name, they call them the bride stones, from there to where she is now, you know, that journey that she has been on as well. So to embody that and be a part of that process is wonderful too.
So tell me how you got involved or with WitchCon, the largest online
How did I get
presentation.
involved with WitchCon? It was through my writings at Witches magazine. One of the other presenters, I think from last year, had done he writes for Witches magazine, and he'd done a presentation, and I connected with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, WitchCon, you know, you can apply here and this that." And I thought, "Oh yeah, I can. I'll go for it." I feel ready at that point in time to do it, you know. So that's how I stumbled upon WitchCon. It's not massively known in England at the moment, so I'd like to kind of spread the word out a little bit more around here, you know. It's just, yeah, it's not, when you talk about WitchCon, people, we know about the pagan festivals and things like that. We have all of that in England, but when it comes to WitchCon, it's not as well known at this point in time. So spreading the word about that as well.
To us over here in the States, it's the largest online gathering of witches in the world. There's nothing bigger online, and there's nothing bigger, and it's a lot to look forward to. What's going to be your I don't want you to give it all away, because we want people to sign up on WitchCon for your classes and presentation there, but what's going to be your theme that you talk about? What's your class? What's the class?
It is the Magician's Alchemy. So again, kind of coming back to his card and how he has all the tools that you can use to transmute things within your life. So things that aren't quite working out, how you can use elemental practice to draw it from one place to another. That card, you can definitely have a conversation with that card. Yeah, it's great. You sleep with him under your pillow, your dreams will never be the same.
Right. I really like the Magician card itself, and the tools, that the imagery on that. I mean, I own those tools, and all of those tools are very, very special to me personally, and things. So yeah. What else is in the work? WitchCon. You write for Witches magazine. Do you go to is there local pagan gatherings over there in?
There are. We have a festival of witches and pagans, which is on every May, I want to say. It's at May time, so I'll probably be heading there. I'm quite a sole practitioner when it comes to my own witchcraft anyway, so I share what I feel wants to be shared, and then with the rest of it I kind of keep very internal into myself with that side of the practice. So it's not something that when we talk about witchcraft, not something that I would like massively talk about my own personal practice with anyway. So when it comes to the festivals and the conferences, etc., it will be more of the what you can learn through the various aspects of it rather than my personal practice. So talking on stage and things like that, it would be more as the, you know, again, working with the tarot and how you can embody those tools.
Do you have any favorite pagan musicians?
Omnia. I love Omnia. Absolutely love them. Fawn, I love Fawn. Dave the Bard as well. I've met him quite a few times. He's absolutely wonderful. He's ever so tall. You know, he's so tall when you meet him. He's wonderful. He's so good. And I don't know if you've ever watched his online concerts, but he does them every month. And during COVID, I was regularly watching them, because it was that outlet, you know, being stuck in the house and being back with a community all online, you know. It was wonderful.
Definitely like Dave the Bard there. We've had him on the show here before for a couple of different interviews. Omnia, great band. I like that too. I don't know how tall he is. I've never met him in person, only on video for interviews and things. I know he does come to the United States sometimes. Um, so I know he probably has a really big following over there. Have you ever seen
Yeah.
him play live?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've met him a
Huh.
couple of times. Met him a couple of times. It's wonderful, especially when the mead starts flowing by the end of it. You know, it's absolutely it's wonderful. But he manages to transport you, doesn't he? He transports you into the kind of liminal space between the worlds. He's absolutely wonderful. Great musician, great guy as well.
So those your favorite musicians, pagan music, Omnia, Dave the Bard. How about let's see, practitioners of the craft? Who are your influencers in Summerland or not? People that you've admired in the craft.
More books actually, rather the I'm a great believer in the kind of the ancient story, like the ancient texts, the books and things like that. So working with perhaps the older books um, about witchcraft, I've definitely got the Encyclopedia of Herbs. I'm just looking over that way, but I haven't got it out. Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs is one of my go-to books. I also have had a mentor. She kind of guides me through things as well as I've gone into the practice. She guided me along my path to where I am now. So she will always be a massive part of my life, but she's not a big, all guns blazing, this is the person. She's more of a discreet, discreet lady, but on a personal level, she's massively helped me.
Very, very intriguing. It's always good to have a mentor to help you along the path.
Yeah,
What would
more so when I first kind of obviously where I started out to where I am now. That journey has definitely been more about my internal path and what I've practiced myself. But she has been that guide when I've needed to know about how to maybe shadow work. You know, it's hard to go through shadow work on your own. I feel like you need someone sometimes to be that support as you're going through it. Someone that you can voice what's happening in your body and your mind, and she was always ever so good and helpful with that, you know, and helping me with this is the best herb for this, we can work with this, we can do this, listen to these solfeggio like sounds and things like that. So yeah, no, she's great.
I think the term shadow work. I think it's kind of a new agey kind of uh, slang. I think it kind of, but it's like a psychological thing. I think it's a lot older than when you say it's shadow work. That
Yeah,
type of work I feel is just a lot older than what the definition is. But I know that it's
yeah,
very, very painful. That when you
yeah. And for
talking,
for me it was a lot about trauma, you know, like family trauma, ancestral trauma that's been passed down. So it's been a lot. It's a kind of a lot to process and go through. But that's why it's there, and the tarot kind of can help guide with that, I guess. um you know, when I was working with the root chakra to kind of bring that stability into the family situation where I am now. So I was said to the tarot is like, okay, connect me with my root chakra. What does my root chakra want me to know? What do I need to do to stabilize the situation, you know? So working through the shadow aspects and working through kind of the soul work, it's not just, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, it's not just your stuff, is it? It's the stuff from other people that has kind of landed on your shoulders to where you are now to be. As a responsible witch, you have to kind of go through the shadow stuff. You can't just say, you know, not everything is love and light. We have to go through the darker side of things. It's just part of who we are. But to feel better and to release kind of the anxiety that flows with it, it means you have to go through it.
so Allie, you're a published writer for Witches Magazine. You go into the largest online gathering for witches in the world. You're a professional tarot card reader. You love the Morrigan. You love Bree. Um, you know, younger seekers, might be pretty inspired by that. What would be your advice to them just starting out on their path?
To just go with it. I feel like it would be to just go with the flow of it at this point in time. Goddess will find you. You know, if you are interested in goddess, the right goddess will come to you. You don't necessarily have to seek them out, you know. For example, I kept seeing as I was driving, I kept seeing on cars the word key. And it took me a long time to work out, why am I seeing key? And then one day I was like, Hecate and her keys. And I was like, she's found me. She's found me. She's got me. They will find you. You know, so you don't have to force any of this energy. You can just go with it, go with the flow of it. The right energy will come to you. The right goddesses, deities, they will find you. You know, so going with the flow of it. And it doesn't have to be as complicated, you know. You don't have to have a very complicated magic practice to bring in what it is that you want. It can be as simple as you make it.
Ally, thank you so much for coming on the Lone Wolf Show. If you like what you hear and you're inspired, you can check her out at Mystic Love Tarot right on there on YouTube, and also mysticlovetarot.com. I suppose to take classes, to study with, or to get readings with. And if you feel, yeah, that would be great. Do you have any parting words of wisdom at all?
I would just go with the magician's energy again as we finish off, and just say, as above, so below. You know, I feel that that's a good way to close off this. You know, we're bringing that energy to you. Whatever happens in the higher realms, you can bring into your reality.
Blessed be, Ally. Thank you so
Blessed be.
much.
Thank you.